Hello Vijay, hello Umairuddin. So let me check if this is streaming or not. Yes, it is streaming. So I welcome to Diksha Karnataka channel, and today we are going to solve KCET 2025 paper complete. So the paper code that we are solving today is A3. The paper code is A3. Those who may have some paper, sir, my question number is not matching because there are multiple paper codes. Okay, so the starting question for individually all papers have different, and the questions are somewhat at different order for different papers. So A3 paper that we are going to solve today. And hello salam. All questions we will be solving one by one, and in case there are some tricky questions, some difficult questions, that also we will discuss. Don't worry. So we will start with the first question. The range of electrical conductivity and resistivity rho. So this is sigma. Okay, symbols name changed, and resistivity rho for metals among the following is. So we are trying to find the electrical conductivity and resistivity for metals. Okay, for metals, not non-metals, not semiconductors, but metals. What is the conductivity? We know that conductors are very good conductor. Good conductor means conductivity should be very high. So conductivity should be very high, and resistivity should be very low. That is the property of a conductor. Insulator have the exact opposite of this, and semiconductors are somewhere in between. So if you see that resistivity is low, means 10 to the power value will be minus. 10 to the power value will be minus, not only minus, it will be very high value minus. So if you compare all the values, here it is 10 to the power of 11, by the way. So if you are not understand, this is plus, all are plus. Here it is 10 to the power of 2, 10 to the power of 8. Okay, so if you see that out of all these values are smallest. Okay, that means 10 to the power of minus 2 and minus 8, that gives you the smallest resistivity, and 10 square and 10 to the power of 8 gives you the highest conductivity. So definitely option C or 3 is the correct answer. Yes, Anand, Salam, both of you are correct. Now out of the given materials, this is insulator. This is insulator, because exact same question will not come, so they will change the options, and this is for semiconductor. So remember that for semiconductor, the range of resistivity and conductivity both have both values. So one side minus, one side plus. Here also one side plus, another side is minus. Okay, so semiconductors, it varies from minus to plus for resistivity as well as conductivity. For conductors, resistivity is in minus and conductivity is in plus. 10 to the power value I am talking about. Okay, for insulators, resistivity will be very high value positive for resistivity, and conductivity will be very high value negative for conductivity. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Which of the following statements is correct for N-type semiconductor? So N-type semiconductor, and we have to find the correct statement, not incorrect but correct statement. The donor energy level lies the halfway mark of the forbidden energy gap. So if you see that N-type basically consisting of, this is valence band, this is conduction band. Okay, now the donor energy level, which located just below the conduction band, so that it can donate electrons into the conduction band. So conduction bands have electrons, and these electrons coming from the donor level. Okay, so this is donor level. For For p-type it is acceptor level, p-type it is called acceptor level which is just above the valence band, and for n-type it is called donor level which is just below the conduction band. Okay, so donor energy level does not exist is wrong. The donor energy level lies just below the bottom of the conduction band, so this is the correct statement. Yes. Good evening, Venkatesh. Yes, yes, correct. Sir, I got 283 from 300. How much I should score in KCET? Venkatesh, we have discussed it multiple times that as much as is possible you can score 160, 170. If you want to get a rank 1 lakh, maybe 50 marks is sufficient. Okay, based on your rank, based on your hunger for rank, what rank you want, then marks will vary from 50 marks till if you want to just qualify for the exam with a 2 lakh rank, maybe 50 marks is sufficient. Okay, if you want a good rank, 160 plus is a standard marks, good marks in KCET. Average, on an average 160 is considered a good mark. 80% is what? 80 plus 80% is 140, I think. So that much you have to score. The circuit shown in the figure contains two ideal diodes D1 and D2. If a cell of EMF 3 volt and negligible internal resistance is connected as shown, then the current through 70 ohm resistance in ampere is. So here we have a diode shown over here. Okay, now if you look into the diagram very clearly, you will see that this diode is forward biased, this diode is reverse biased. So this diode will not conduct, this diode will conduct. Okay, so very simple. You start with positive. If you are going in the direction of arrow, then the diode is forward biased. If you are not going in the direction of arrow direction is in this side, but the current is trying to be flown in this side, so the direction mismatches. That means no current will flow in this diode. So this resistance will remain cut off from the circuit. Only this 70 ohm and this 30 ohm matters. So what is the total resistance? Total resistance is very simple. Total resistance is 70 plus 30, which is 100 ohm, and the voltage supplied here is 3 volts. So what is the current? Current is V by R, that is 3 by 100, that is 0.03. Diodes are ideal, so no voltage drop across the diode. If the diodes are not ideal, you have to subtract the diode, the forward biasing voltage from this potential supplied. That's it. Okay, so 0.3 is the correct answer. So option 2 or option B is correct. Yes, option B, not Anant, not 3. I think you are trying to answer the previous question. Now next, in determining the refractive index of a glass slab using traveling microscope, the following readings are tabulated. So this is an experimental question. This is an experiment based question. Okay, in determining the refractive index of a glass slab using a traveling microscope, the following readings are tabulated. Reading of the traveling microscope for ink mark is 5.123 centimeter. Reading for traveling microscope for ink mark through a glass slab is 6.123 centimeter. Reading of traveling microscope for chalk dust on the glass slab is 8.123 centimeter. Okay, from the data the refractive index of the glass slab is. So what is basically the meaning is that, so when you are conducting the refractive index experiment, you have a glass slab over here, you have a ink dot over here. So this is the traveling microscope through which you are measuring, right? If you remember the experiment, this is how you measure. So basically the height of the this chalk dust which is coming over here is actually 5.123. okay, but when you move it slightly upward because of the traveling microscope, the reading you are getting is 6.123. okay, reading of the traveling microscope for chalk dust. Chalk dust is on the top of the glass slab. right? This is the on the top of the glass slab, so this is coming out to be 8.123. So how to calculate the refractive index? So refractive index is the reading of the chalk dust 8.123 minus reading of the chalk dust minus, just a second, yes. So thickness of the slab is 3. Thickness of the slab is 3 and the apparent increase is 1. Apparent increase is 1. So thickness is 3. This is 1 centimeter and thickness of the slab is 3 centimeter. Yes, so it will be 8.123 minus the 5.123, which is the thickness of the slab, divided by 8.123 minus 6.123. Okay, so it will be 3 divided by 2, that is this height. Okay, so that will be 1.5 and there will be 00. Why 00? Because 1, 2, 3 is the least count, so you have to consider the least count. So correct answer will be option 4. Option 4, yes, correct. Option 4 is the correct answer. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. In an experiment to determine the figure of merit of a galvanometer by half deflection method, again this is an experimental based question. Okay, so experimental based question, there are 3 experimental based question came, 2 of them from PU2, 1 was PU1. In an experiment to determine the figure of merit of a galvanometer by half deflection method, a student constructed the following circuit. So this is the circuit. He unplugged a resistance of 50 to 100 ohm in R. So in R the resistance is 50 to 100. So this is 50 to 100. Okay, while K1 is closed. So the current is being passed through the galvanometer and K2 is open. So this is directly being passed through the galvanometer directly. No, the shunt is not involved here. Okay, the deflection observed in the galvanometer is 26 division. So the deflection observed in the galvanometer is 26 division. When K2 is also closed and resistance of 90 ohm is removed to become 30 division. So now you have applied this and you have added a resistance of 90 ohm. Okay, that means the current is now divided through this 13 ohm here, 13 ohm here. Okay, so the resistance of the galvanometer is, so what is the resistance of the galvanometer? So let's see. So basically what we have done, we have added this 90 ohm resistance so that the current, whatever current was coming in the circuit, that becomes that's equally divided through the galvanometer. Now overall resistance of the galvanometer also changes, so that you have to consider it also. So suppose the initially EMF was E, so what is the current in the circuit? Okay, you can use the formula as well, but let us solve for those who do not know the formula. Suppose you have forgotten the formula, how to simplify it. So suppose the battery voltage is E, okay, the resistance in series is 5200 and the galvanometer resistance is G. So this is the initial current. Now when you have added a resistance of 90 ohm in parallel, now what is the galvanometer resistance? Galvanometer resistance is actually G into 90 divided by G plus 90. Okay, this gives you a deflection of 26. This gives you a deflection of 26. Now after you have added this 90 ohm, the resistance changes. Now what is the current? The current is actually E divided by 5200, that remains same, but this resistance, galvanometer of the resistance changes, which is 90G divided by 90 plus G. Now this gives you a half deflection, which is 13. So deflection becomes half, means current obviously getting halved as well. So current becomes half, right? No, just a second. No, there is a problem. Because you cannot simply take 30 here. I know what will be the answer, but yes, it will be close to 90 only. Okay, that is one thing. So close to 90 will be 91.6, but mathematically I am not able to correct it. Okay. So just okay. Ideally the galvanometer resistance and this resistance should be same. Okay, so if you are doing this in half deflection method means you have to adjust this resistance such that the galvanometer resistance deflects to half of the value, and that basically gives you almost equal to the galvanometer resistance, because current becomes half, and that is why we can say that the galvanometer resistance is very close to this 90 ohm, which is obviously 91.6. Now exact formula of this I forgot it. Mathematically also it will be complicated if I try to solve it normally, so I will not use that logic as well. The simple logic that you have to remember is that half deflection method gives you the resistance which is very close to this shunt resistance. Okay, so shunt resistance is exactly almost same, equals to the galvanometer resistance. That's why the current is actually dividing into half. So 13 division pass through this, remaining 13 passes through the shunt. But because the overall resistance also changes slightly, so this is not exactly 90, slightly more than 90. So that you have to calculate. Aditya Chauhan asked the students who appeared in the 2025 exam. Okay, those who appeared in the 2025 exam, they did not feel that the paper was easy, at least when they gave the exam. Okay, because many students think that the paper was difficult, paper was not that easy. Yes, it is easy. After the exam they realized paper was easy. Okay, the marks got 59 was highest in physics, but during the exam many students felt that the paper was not easy. So that is one thing you have to be careful about. Even though paper is easy, while you are giving the exam you might feel that paper was difficult, so be mindful about it. While determining the coefficient of viscosity of the given liquid, a spherical steel ball sinks by a distance h equals to 0.9 meter. So this is from your PU1. The radius of the ball is given r equals to √3 10 to the power of -3 meter. The time taken by the ball to sink in 3 trials are tabulated as follows. So this is the so you have a ball, you have a fluid. Okay, you have a ball, you have allowed the ball to flow through the liquid, and you have measured the time. Okay, the difference between the densities of the steel ball and the liquid is 7000 kg per meter. If G is 10 meter per second square, then the coefficient of viscosity of the given liquid in room temperature is. So first of all, you have to calculate the time average. Okay, average time. Average time is given here is 75 plus 65 plus 70, which will be 2.70. So this is the average time of fall. Okay, now radius is given. So we know that height of the ball is given. So what is the formula for terminal velocity? Terminal velocity will be h by t. H is 0.9 and time taken is 2.7. So it will be 9 by 27 or 1/3. Okay, so the terminal velocity from here you will get 1/3 meter per second. Okay, and terminal velocity in terms of viscosity, you will also get a formula. If I remember correctly, 2 by 9 rho, difference in rho into I think viscosity. Okay, from here you can calculate the viscosity, which will be 9 by 2 into Vt divided by difference in rho. Okay, so you have to calculate that. 9 by 2 into 1/3 into 1 by 7000. Okay, so it will be 3 so it will be 3 divided by no, sorry, this is not 9. This is 2 by 3. 2 by 3 difference in rho of solid minus rho of liquid, which is obviously given in this case. Neeraj is giving me a formula, G equals S divided by L1 by L2 minus 1. What is this formula? Adit Chauhan is saying, sir, I got 53 in 25 mock tests. As I said, question number 5. Okay, you are saying question number 5. Okay, so it is L1 by L2 minus 1. You are saying this formula we have to use. Yes. So S is 90. Okay, half deflection method means what? Half deflection method means it will be 2 by 1 minus 26 by 13 minus 1, which will be 90 2 minus 1, okay, which is very close to 90. So this is the importance of half deflection method. Half deflection method gives you the resistance of the galvanometer close to this value where you actually getting the half deflected current, okay, that is the logic. So that formula you use, or you remember that half deflection method gives the resistance close to the resistance of the shunt. So that is one point you have to remember. Yes. You are saying yes, okay, whatever you use, you will get the same answer. RS into R minus S. Yes, that method also you can use. You will get, actually this is very easy to remember. Remember that value of R is very high, value of S is very small. So in this method also you say that RS by R approximately it will be equals to S. Okay, approximately it will be equals to S always. This is a very common point you have to remember, that if you see any question based on half deflection method, the resistance of the galvanometer will be very close to this value. Okay, you can use any method that you want. Okay, so I was using the correct formula, but some values were incorrect. So terminal velocity will be 2 by 9 difference in rho, and then it will be there is a R square here, and I think there is a G also. So this is the formula. Yes, I was making a mistake, I was ignoring R square and G. So that also you have to include over here, and there will be eta as well. Eta will be in division. Then you can calculate. So eta will be equals to 2 by 9 terminal velocity difference in rho R square divided by G. Okay, now you have to put the values. So it will be 2 by 9 into 1/3 into 7000 into R square is what? R value is given here √3 10 to the power of minus 3. So R square will be 3 into 10 to the power of minus 6 divided by G is 10. Now you have to simplify. So this will be 1/3, and you get this 3 cancels, and you get 1 of the 0 will be cancelled, and you get 1400 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So it will be 1.4 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Okay, so it will be 1.4 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Have I made a mistake? Yes. No. 1 0 I am getting less. The difference is 7000 or 700. 7000 is given. G is 10. So I think there is one value, this should be the correct answer, but I am getting 1 0 less. I don't know why. No, Neeraj, the question option D, Pascal second. Why option D? So it is coming out to be 1.4 into 10 to the power of minus 3. No, we are not going in the order of chapters. We are going in the order of the question that appeared in that paper only. Okay. Yes, R square we have done. R was root 3 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Right. So R square is 3 into 10 to the power of minus 6. R square we have done. Okay. R square we have done. But we are getting 1 0 less. So 1 2 zeros here. 1 2 0. 3 zeros we have taken out of this. So 10 to the power of minus 3 is coming. Okay. So it will be 1 2 3. Decimal will be 1.4 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So need to check this question once. Formula is correct, I know. So it will be 1.4 into 10 to the power of minus 3 that I am getting. Okay, but in the option whether there is a typing mistake or this question was partially incorrect, that I have to check once, because it is coming out to be 1.4 into 10 to the power of minus 3. G should be in the numerator. Why G should be in the numerator? Yes, sorry. It's R square G, no? Yes. So that is one mistake. Let's see if I can correct that. R square G. Okay. So it will be into root 3 into 10 to the power, 3 into 10 to the power of minus 6 into 10. Okay. So from there we get 7,000. So divided by 9 into 1/3. So we get 3 over here. This 3 cancels, and we get here 1 2 3 4 zeros. 14 1 2 3 4 zeros into 10 to the power of minus 6, and we get 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yes, 0.14. Okay, so 0.14 is correct. So not this answer is correct, but this one is correct. Okay, this answer is correct. Yes, correct. Okay. So you can see that this formula based question also came. So this is a PU1. This experiment you have done in PU1. Okay, so PU1 experiment based questions will also come. Exactly, viscosity based question may not come. There is an experiment of time period of pendulum where you have plotted a graph. So that based question I expect this year might be that question will come. Now this question particularly in 2025 was a bonus question. Now your find the answer. Obviously you might be able to answer this question, but why it was given as a bonus question, who will be able to answer this? Which of the following expressions can be deduced on the basis of dimensional analysis? All symbols have their usual meaning. Okay. I am not going in the order of chapter Aksharam. We are going in the order of the question that was given in paper A3. Paper code A3 in KCET generally questions appear in chapter wise, but the order is different. For every student the order of the question will be different, but if you get a question, generally it comes in the order of the chapters. Suppose you are starting with your first question is electric charges and field, then your next chapter will be electric potential, then it will be current, electricity, so far and so on. In between there can be some of the mismatching happened. I seen this year there was 1 or 2 mismatches are there, but otherwise in KCET the question paper itself is going by the chapter order, but the chapter order, the first chapter that you will start. For example, we started with semiconductors. Someone will start with current, electricity. Someone will start with system of particles. So the order is different for everyone, but the question paper itself will have the chapter order. Okay, let's see which one is the correct answer. Only one correct answer. So first of all, which of the following expression can be deduced in the basis of dimensional analysis? Dimensional analysis cannot determine quantities in the exponential power, in the sine or cos power, okay, because sine, cos are dimensionless quantities, okay. So this quantity has to be dimensionless, even though radian is considered to be a supplementary unit, but radian itself has no dimension, okay. So this quantities has to be dimensionless and you cannot determine them using dimensional analysis method, okay. Now if there is an addition, subtraction involved, that also cannot be determined using dimensional analysis method. Only multiplication and division can be calculated using dimensional analysis. So correct answer for this is very obvious, is option 2, which is 6 pi eta RV. Okay, some of you may have derived it using dimensional analysis, some of you have not. Those who are from CBSE may have derived it, those who are from PU board have not done it. But why this was given as a bonus question? Yes, Nandish, correct. Trigonometric formulas, exponential formulas and addition also not applicable for dimensional analysis method. But this question was given as bonus question. Even though this formula you can derive, this question was given as a bonus question. Why is so? Can anyone tell me why this question was given as a bonus question? Okay, that is a bonus question from me as well. So bonus question means no matter what you have answered, you will get the marks. So in the paper, if there was a mistake in the question paper, okay, so that then none of the options are actually technically correct, they give that as bonus question. Yes, correct. So this 6 pi is a constant. Okay, this constant you cannot determine using dimensional analysis. Okay, constants cannot be determined using dimensional analysis. If the formula was given as f is equal to some constant eta RV, okay, k is some arbitrary constant, then this could have been determined. Okay, the exact nature of the k cannot be determined. There can be any formula if I give you using the method of dimensional analysis. If any dimensionless constant is multiplied with the formula, that cannot be determined using dimensional analysis. That's why it was given as a bonus question. Now next question, two stones begin to fall from rest from same height, with the second stone starting to fall delta t times delta t seconds after the first fall from the rest. The distance of separation between the two stones becomes capital H. 2 seconds after the first stone starts to t naught second, not 2, t naught, this is t naught. Okay, t naught seconds after the first stone starts to motion, then t naught is equal to. So what is the question is, so suppose we have a tall building, very tall building, we have one stone which is started to fall, okay, and after delta t seconds of the first stone falling over here, okay, we dropped another stone, and in time, after some time, both stones have fallen some distance, okay, that separation between them is capital H. Okay, it says that this happened after the first stone falls for a time of t naught second. The first stone falls for a time of t naught second. You have to find what is the value of t naught. Not difficult question, but not a very straightforward question. You have to do some mathematics to solve it. First of all, understand the question, then only you will be able to solve it. So how to solve this question? First stone is falling at t equals to 0. First stone falling at t equals to 0. So how much distance it will travel at this time t naught? The distance traveled by this stone is given by s equals to ut plus half at square. U is 0, so simply half g t naught square. So this is the distance traveled by the first stone. What about the second stone? The second stone, it started at a time delta t, t equals to delta t, so it is not starting at t equals to 0. So the distance traveled by the second stone, so this is say S1, S2 will be again half g, but here it will be t naught minus delta t whole square. Okay, your problem is solved. As long as you have achieved this part, your problem is solved. Now you have to just reorganize it. Okay, so basically second stone starting at a time delta t after first stone means the time taken by the second stone to fall such that the time will be minus delta t. Now the difference between their position is S1 minus S2, that is given in the question is capital H. Okay, now you have to simplify this and find T naught. So half G is common, so half G will be common. You will get T naught square minus T naught minus delta T whole square, that is equals to capital H. Okay, so you get here T naught square minus 2 delta T naught plus delta T square equals to H. Okay, now simplify this. You will get T naught square minus T naught square plus 2 delta T naught minus delta T square equals to H. Okay, so let me come over here. So you get here T naught square cancels and you get 2 delta T naught equals to H plus delta T square, or T naught equals to H divided by 2 delta T plus delta T square by 2 delta T, okay, or H by 2 delta T plus delta T by 2. Okay, so this is the time after which the separation between them will be T naught. Okay, so correct answer will be there will be a G also. I missed that G. So that G has to transfer over here. So that G has to transfer, this half G is there. Okay, so it will be 2H by G. So 2H by G will be there. So it will be 2H by G plus delta T square. So it will be 2H by G into 2 delta T, 2 cancels. Here delta T square by 2 delta T, one of the delta T will cancel, so T naught will be H by G delta T plus delta T by 2. Okay, so correct answer will be this one, option 2. Okay, option 2. Yes, last year paper. Bunny, this is last year's paper. Yes. Shankar answered correctly. Noha Kazi answered initially wrong, then corrected its answer. Yes, Bunny, this is 2025 paper exactly as it is, without any change. Even if there is some bonus question, we have included everything. In the projectile motion of a particle on a ground, which of the following remains constant with reference to time and position? Horizontal component of velocity. So in the projectile motion of particle on a ground, which of the following remains constant with reference to time and position? Horizontal component of velocity, angle between the instantaneous velocity with the horizontal, vertical component of the velocity of the projectile, average velocity between any 2 points on the path. Very easy question. Yes. So P1, so those who are worried about P1, if the questions are easy, you will be anyway able to answer this. Okay, so you will be anyway able to answer the questions if the questions are easy. And if the questions are difficult, you need to do mathematics. For that you have to prepare. Okay. Now a particle is in uniform circular motion. The equation of its trajectory is given by x minus 2 whole square plus y square equals to 25, where x and y are in meter. The speed of the particle is 2 meter per second. when the particle attains the lowest y coordinate, the acceleration of the particle is. So first of all, let us understand the problem. So here we have, what is this equation? X minus 2 square plus y square is equal to 25. This is an equation of a circle, and the circle is not, the center of the circle is not at origin, but the center of the circle is at 2, 0. Okay, the center of the circle is 2, 0. Let me use a circle tool. Let me change the color. Just a second. Yes, so this is the circle. So as you can see, what is the lowest y coordinate? Lowest y coordinate is this. The lowest y coordinate is this. Obviously this will be the lowest y coordinate. Now the question is, when the particle attains the lowest y coordinates, the acceleration of the particle. So what is how to calculate? First of all, let us understand the value of the acceleration, because there are a lot of values are given. Centripetal acceleration, when the particle is moving in a circular path, the acceleration that is acting on the particle is centripetal acceleration, which is v square upon r. Now v is given here 2 meter per second, which is 4. And what is r here? How to calculate r? So if you remember, x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square equals to r square. Okay, so this is the r. So r is actually here square root of 25, which is 5. Okay, so this is the general equation of circle. So that means 4 by 5, which will be 0.8. Now 0.8, which direction, I cap or j cap? So when the particle is at the lowest position, what is the direction of this acceleration? The acceleration points in the positive y direction. This direction is positive y. This is y direction. This is x direction. So that means, what is this direction? This is j cap direction. So the particle is basically accelerating in the j cap direction with the magnitude of 0.8. This is centripetal acceleration problem, and only thing that you need to consider, what is the direction. Direction is upward direction at the lowest point. Direction changes each and every point. Okay, if they ask you at the lowest x coordinate is here, so it will be in the positive x direction, I cap direction. Acceleration's magnitude remains same, but based on the position, the direction of acceleration changes. So basically you have to find the direction. Yes. Akashram, please don't spam. If you know the answer, you mention it once, I will definitely say. Vijay, sir, KCET is very easy compared to JEE Mains. Yes, Adi Chauhan, KCET is not about easy or difficult, it is about how many questions you are able to answer correctly on that day. That's it. Okay, how many questions you are able to answer. Time management is more important in KCET than in JEE. JEE you get plenty of time, so you have to understand the questions, then you solve it, and then you get the answer. But in KCET it is not like that. You read the question, you solve it. If you don't solve it, you leave it. That's it. A wooden block of mass m lies on a rough floor. So here we have a mass m lies on a rough floor. Another wooden block of the same mass is hanging from the point O. So from this point another mass is hanging, okay, through the strings as shown in the figure. To achieve equilibrium, the coefficient of the static friction between the block on the floor with the floor itself is. So here we have a mass which is hanging. There is a frictional force over here, and you have to find the coefficient of frictional force. This is option 1. you have to find the coefficient of frictional force. Now remember, the normal force over here is R, okay, normal reaction, which is exactly equals to mg. Okay, so this force is exactly equals to mg. Now what is the force of friction? Force of friction is mu into R, that is mu mg. Normally mu mg is the case, but sometimes at some angle it will not exactly be mu mg, it is mu R is always correct. So make sure, based on, suppose it's on inclined plane, frictional force might change, but mu into R is always correct. Reaction force can change based on the situation, so you need to be careful about it. Do not always write mu mg. Now this force is acting on this direction. At this point O, what are all the forces acting? So one force is acting in this direction, one force is acting on this direction, one force is acting in this direction, that is mg. There is a tension force acting on this wire at this direction. Now you can use Lami's theorem if you know. If you don't know, you have to take the component of this tension. One is T cos theta, and here it will be T sin theta. Okay, T sin theta is upward force which has to be balancing the downward force. So T sin theta must be equals to mg, and T cos theta must be equals to this force, that is mu mg. Now you are trying to find which force? You are trying to find the the angle theta, but you are trying to find the coefficient of friction mu. So what you have to do? You have to divide T cos theta by T sin theta, which will give you mu mg by mg. So mg cancels, you get mu equals to cot theta. So mu equals to cot theta is the correct answer, that is option 4. Option 4 is correct. Yes, Bunny is correct. Vijay, no. Vijay, 2 is not correct. It looks easier than CBSE boards. As I mentioned, question paper will be easy, but first of all, during the day of exam, many students struggled. Okay, many students struggles because they are not able to manage the time. Managing the time is also very, very important. A block of certain mass is placed on a rough floor. The coefficient of static and kinetic friction between the block and the floor are 0.4 and 0.25 respectively. A constant horizontal force F is equal to 20 Newton acts on it, so that the velocity of the block varies with the time, not varies, it is varies with the time according to the following graph. The mass of the block is nearly. So velocity is changing like this. Okay, so if you see that here, from 0 to 3 second, from 0 to 3 second, velocity changes from 0 till 20. Okay, so what is the acceleration of the block? The acceleration of the block is change in velocity by change in time, that is 20 divided by 3. So this is the acceleration of the block. Now what is the force acting on it? The first of all, the floor is rough. Okay, kinetic friction is given 0.25. Now because the block is moving, we will not consider the static friction. Static friction you can ignore because the block is moving, so only kinetic friction has to be considered. Now when the block is moving, what is the force of friction? Force of friction is obviously this is mg, this is reactionary force, so this will be mu mg, and there is a forward force which is taking the block forward. That force is given as 20 Newton. So what is the net force? The net force is the applied external force minus mu mg. Okay, so this is the net force, and that should be equals to ma, right? That should be equals to ma. So net force equals to ma, that is the Newton's second law of motion. From here we get that the applied force is ma plus mu mg. Now if you take m as common, you get a plus mu g, or mass of the block is force divided by a plus mu g. So 20 Newton was the force. Acceleration of the body we have calculated 20 by 3, and mu is 0.25 and g is 10. Okay, 20.3 you have to take it, 20.3 you have to take it, it will be 6.67 approximately, right? So you will get this as 20 divided by 6.67 plus 2.5, right? So it will be 9.1 approximately. So 20 divided by 9.17, which will be very close to 10 but slightly more than 10. Okay, so slightly more than 1, so approximately 1.2 kg is the correct answer. Okay, not exactly 1 kg, because 1 kg means it has to be 10, but it is not 10. No, sorry. It will be slightly more than 2. It will be slightly more than 2. Okay, not 1. It will be slightly more than 2. So it will be 2 point something. So 20 by 10 is 2. Okay, so 20 by 9 will be more than 20 by 9 will be more than 2. Okay, so answer will be 2.2 kg. 2.2 kg. Okay, yes, option C is correct. Okay, so you cannot always calculate the exact values, but you have to, after you solve, after you reach your last step, you have to guess the answer properly. A body of mass 0.25 kg travels along a straight line from x equals to 0 to x equals to 2 with a speed of v is equal to kx cube by 2, where k is 2 SI units. The work done by the net force during this displacement is. Okay, so work done by net force is given by F into dx by a small amount of displacement. If you displace it by a small amount, if it is given by F into dx. Now F can be written as m into dv by dt. Okay, force is mass into acceleration, which is mass dv by dt. Okay, or this can be written as m dx by dt into dv, that is mv dv. Okay, so this is a very common trick that we use to derive the work energy theorem. Okay, we start with this and then we integrate it to show that the change in the work done is equals to change in kinetic energy. But here we will use the same formula with a twist. What twist is that? Small work done is given by mv dv. Okay, so total work done must be the integration. Now m is constant. Okay, m is constant, so it will be integration v dv. Now v is not given in terms of v itself, v is given in terms of x. So v is given here k x cube by 2. K is given as 2, so 2x cube by 2, that is x cube. Velocity is x cube. Velocity is given. So what is dv? dv will be d of x cube, which will be 3x square dx. Now you have to put everything back into this equation. Mass is constant, you get x cube into 3x square into dx. So you get 3 into m x to the power of 5 into dx, okay, or you get 3m x to the power of 6 divided by 6, and the range of x is 0 to 2. Okay, they obviously not have given you a very large value so that you can calculate it. So it will be you get here 2, so m by 2 into 2 to the power of 6, m by 2 into 2 to the power of 6. So the work done will be 0.25 by 2 into 2 to the power of 6. Now if you are smart, you don't need to do it like that. What you can do is you can write 0.25 as 1 by 4. Another 2 was there, so you get here as 1 by 2 cube into 2 to the power of 6, that is 2 cube, that is 8. So the work done is 8 joules. Work done is 8 joules. Half mv square, how we will apply half mv square here? Because velocity is given in terms of x, the displacement is given here. So how can you apply half mv square? Okay, okay, maybe you are trying to say that first initially the kinetic energy is 0, finally the kinetic energy. Try that. I am not sure whether that method will work or not, but this is the way. Because the velocity is not constant, you cannot simply take the difference between the kinetic energies. That for this problem it might work, but you have to remember that you have to do the integration method only, otherwise you may not get the correct answer. Because here all 2, 2, 2 given, maybe it will work, but if any other value is given, it will not work. Okay, Adi. So remember that you have to use integration method. You can start with this formula. This formula is well known. You can start with this formula, but you have to do the integration method. There is no other option to solve this question. For this particular problem, given data, half mv square might give you a correct answer, but otherwise if you solve it, obviously 4 we got correctly. Siddhant Nayak, we have solved the answer and it is coming out to be 8. During an elastic collision between two bodies, which of the following statements are correct? Number 1, initial kinetic energy is equal to the final kinetic energy of the system. The linear momentum is conserved. The kinetic energy during the collision time is not conserved. Who can answer this? Vijay, no, not 4. It will be 2 only. So it will be integration. You are doing integration, so it will be x to the power of 6 by 6. X to the power of 6 by 6. Now mass of the body is given 0.25 kg. 0.25 means 1 by 4 kg. And also we had 1 extra 2 over here in the division. So 1 by 4 into 1 extra 2. So that means it will be 2 to the power of 3. Okay, 4 means 2 square. You multiply with another 2, you get 2 cube. Okay, so 2 cube in the division, 2 to the power of 6 in the numerator. So it will be 2 to the power of 6 minus 3, that is 2 to the power of 3. 2 to the power of 3 means 8. Okay, not 4. Now what about this question? Rahul saying 1, Sayeda is saying C. Okay, now let us understand this. What is the question here? During elastic collision, so suppose we have two bodies A and B. Now they are colliding elastically. They are colliding elastically means after collision and before collision, the total momentum and kinetic energy are conserved. Both are conserved because it's an elastic collision. So initial kinetic energy equals to the final kinetic energy of the system. Linear momentum is always conserved. So linear momentum will be conserved. Now what is happening during the collision? Let us understand. Suppose the object is in contact with the other object for a very brief period. Okay, what happens this time? This time part of the kinetic energy gets transferred from one object to another via potential energy. total energy at this moment is constant, but the kinetic energy alone is not constant during this time. Okay, kinetic energy is not constant because during the collision time, part of the kinetic energy gets converted into potential energy, and then that potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy of the second object. Okay, suppose what happens, suppose Virat Kohli hits a 6. Okay, when he is hitting the ball, the kinetic energy of its bat is transferred to the ball via potential energy. Otherwise the energy cannot be directly transferred. Okay, the bat gets little compressed, the ball gets little compressed, and that's how the kinetic energy getting transferred into the ball via potential energy, and then the ball goes to the go out of the boundary for a 6. So you have to remember that during the collision time, the kinetic energy is not conserved even for a elastic collision. So this statement is also correct. This statement is also correct. So both 1, 2 and 3 are correct. So option 2 is correct. Okay, so those who have answered option 2 are correct. Those who have answered 3 or 1 are not correct. Okay, so it will be 1, 2 and 3. Now next, 3 particles of mass 1 kg, 2 kg and 3 kg are placed at the vertices A, B and C respectively of an equilateral triangle ABC of side 1 meter. The center of mass of the system from the vertex A located at origin. Now this question was not given as a bonus initially. I am not sure in the second or third revision. But this question should have been a bonus question, because the way we have to solve it, there is only one way, but that way is not very much specified in the question. Either it has to be accompanied by a diagram, or this has to be given by a bonus question. So it is given as ABC. So the A is located at origin, this point is B, this point is C. You cannot take any other configuration to solve this problem. Now my problem with this question is that, suppose I take, this is X, this is Y, right? It is mentioned that A is at origin. No other points where the location of the other point is not mentioned. Suppose I take A, B and C. If I take this kind of triangle, this is also satisfying the conditions, right? So this case you will not get the answer that is given in the options. If you take the points like this, suppose you take the point A, B, C, this will also not give you the answer. Okay, so you will get the answer only when you take the triangle like this. So this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Okay, if you take the triangle like this, then only you will be able to solve this question. Okay. Okay, now this height is this, suppose the each side is A, so this will be A by 2. So the x coordinate of this point is A by 2, and y coordinate will be this distance, so that is A square minus A square by 4 square root, which is root 3 by 2A. So this will be root 3 by 2A. Okay, this will be A comma 0. So these are the 3 points that you have to take. Okay, and you have to calculate the center of mass, 1 kg, 2 kg and 3 kg. Now it is simple, 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. Now how to calculate XCM, YCM? XCM is equals to M1 x1 plus M2 x2 plus M3 x3 divided by M1 plus M2 plus M3. Right? Now out of that, M1, this point is 0, so x1 is 0. Okay, this one is A, so 0 into M1 plus A into, we will put the value of A in a while, don't worry, A into 2 plus a by 2 into 3 divided by 1 plus 2 plus 3. So it will be 2a plus 3a by 2 by 6. So it will be 4a plus 1, that is 7a by 12. 7a by 12 is XCM. What is YCM? YCM will be same method, everything is same, only X become Y. So here Y is 0, so first term is 0. Here also Y is 0, so second term is also 0. The third term Y is mass is 3, Y component is root 3 by 2a, and divided by the sixth term, this will remain same. So we get 3 root 3 a by 12. Okay, now if you see the value of the triangle is given here 1 meter, so every a becomes 1, so we get this as 7 by 12 and this becomes 3 root 3 by 12. Okay, or root 3 by 4. So now let's say the answer, it will be 7 by 12 into root 3 by 12 or root 3 by 4. So correct answer is option 4. Now as I mentioned, this is particular problem, either the diagram should have been provided. If you take any other configuration, for example, I want to solve the same problem by taking B on this diagram and C something like this, you will not get this answer. Okay. If you take f is equal to 1.5x square, then w is equal to 1.5 square dx. 1.5 into square x square, then w is equal to 1.5 x square dx. dw equals to, yes, dw will be equals to 1.5 x square dx. Then you have to integrate it. Okay, but here it was not x square. In the problem that we have solved, there it was not x square, it was x to the power of 5. It was x to the power of 5. So if you are wondering how x to the power of 5 came over here, because fx dx is not applicable over here. Fx dx is not applicable over here because force is not given, velocity is given. So first you have to convert the work in terms of velocity. Now v is given in terms of x, so we have to write v in terms of x and dv in terms of dx. So you have to convert dv also, then only you will be able to apply this equation. Okay, fx dx is not applicable in this problem. Now answer this question. Yes, 3 root 3 by 12. 3 root 3 by 12 is actually root 3 by 4. Okay, they have forgot to cancel 1 root 3, so that's why they have kept it 3 root 3 by 12. Two flywheels are connected by a non-slipping belt as shown in the figure. Okay, I1 equals to 4 kg meter square, R1 is equal to 20 centimeter, I2 is equal to 20 kg meter square, and R2 is equal to 30 centimeter. A torque of 10 Newton meter is applied on the smaller wheel. Then the match the entries of the column 1 with the appropriate entries of the column 2. So we have applied a torque of 10 Newton meter in the smaller wheel. So what is the formula for torque? Torque is equals to I alpha. Same as force. In case of force, we have F is equal to ma. Okay, in case of rotational motion, force is replaced by torque, mass is replaced by angular momentum, and alpha is angular acceleration. So here it will be I1 alpha 1. So first step is to calculate alpha 1. Alpha 1 is torque divided by, now which one is smaller? Yes, smaller one is given by 1, right? Yes. So it is be 10 divided by 4. So that is 2.5. So angular acceleration is 2.5 radian per second or 5 by 2. So angular acceleration is 5 by 2. So A is matching with 3. A is matching with 3. angular acceleration. Now you can solve the remaining portion. There is a shortcut that I will teach you, that torque on the larger wheel. So torque on the larger wheel, and the next point is acceleration of the larger wheel. Angular momentum has to be conserved, so the same angular momentum that is of this object, you have to transfer it to the second object, and then you can calculate the torque, etc. But remember that torque will be a larger value, angular acceleration will be a smaller value. Angular acceleration for the smaller wheel is 5/2. Angular acceleration of the larger wheel will be smaller than 5/2. So which value is smaller than 5/2? Only one option is given, which is 5/3. That means angular acceleration of the larger wheel must be 5/3. Torque on the larger wheel will be this value. Whatever is left. So remember that torque of the angular acceleration of the smaller wheel, this small wheel will rotate faster, right? The larger wheel will rotate slower because it has a higher momentum inertia and it has a higher radius as well. Okay, so that is why it will rotate slower. This one will rotate faster. So that means which one is smaller than 5/2? 5/3 is smaller than 5/2. So that must be the angular acceleration of the larger wheel. You do not need to calculate it. Once you have calculated angular acceleration of one of the wheels, you can easily say that okay, the bigger wheel will have a smaller acceleration. Only one small number is there, that must be 5/2. So A matches with 3, B matches with 2, and C matches with 1. So option 3 is correct answer. Option 3 is correct answer. Hi Sri Vinayak trader. Check once more, Vijay. Check once more. As I mentioned, you do not you cannot integrate it directly. You have to take V and dV both. Both you have to consider for integration. If Rp, Vp, Lp and Ra, Va, La are radii, velocities and angular momentum of a planet at perihelion and aphelion, okay, of its elliptical orbit around the sun, then so if this is a planet, okay, the closest approach is called perihelion and the farthest distance is called aphelion. Okay, now it is mentioned that which of the following are correct. Radius will be more for aphelion, so radius or distance from the planet will be more for aphelion than perihelion. So that means Ra must be greater than Rp. Now how many options are there where this is mentioned? So this is one, this is one. These two must be wrong. These two must be wrong. Why wrong? Because perihelion distance cannot be more than aphelion. Aphelion distance has to be more. So these two options are our option. Next, what they have mentioned? Velocity. So velocity at perihelion, planet will move faster because it is closer to the star. So planet will move faster. That means velocity at the perihelion must be greater than velocity at the aphelion. Here the planet will move slowly. Okay, here the planet will move faster. Gravitational force is more, so it will move faster. So velocity of the perihelion is more than aphelion. So this logic is also satisfied. And if you see the third option, it is always equal. It is always equal. That means angular momentum is always conserved. So correct answer is option A itself. Okay, no need to check anything else. Hello Tanjiro, welcome after a long time. The total energy of a satellite in a circular orbit at a distance r plus h from the center of the earth varies as capital R is the radius of the earth and h is the height of the orbit from the earth's surface. So total energy of the satellite in a circular orbit. So how do total energy varies? So total energy is actually half of the potential energy including sign. Potential energy is what? Potential energy, suppose we have a planet here, a satellite over here, planet of mass m, satellite of mass small m. So the radius is r, the height is h. So what is the potential energy between them? Potential energy is given by minus gmm by r plus h. This is the potential energy. Total energy is always half of the potential energy. Those who have attended my yesterday's lecture, I told them. So it will be minus gmm by r plus h. That means total energy is proportional to minus 1 by r plus h. So correct answer is option 4. Okay. Adi Bashrif. Hi. Kishan, go down. So if you are answering 3 for this is wrong. You have to include the negative sign as well. Total energy of a satellite is negative, same as gravitational potential energy. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Two wires A and B are of same material. Their diameters are in the ratio 1:2 and in the ratio of 1:3. If they are stretched by the same force, then the increase in their length in the ratio of. I think diameters are in the ratio 1:2 and the lengths are. I think there is a length is missing here. Lengths are in the ratio of 1:3. So here we have, say this is length L1, diameter D1. Here we have another wire, different length, different diameter. Now it says that increase in their length will be in the ratio. So basically same material means Young's modulus is same. So Young's modulus is same means F upon A 1 by delta L1 by L1. From here you can calculate delta L1 by L1 equals to F by A1y. Okay, what is area? Area is pi d square by 4. Okay, pi r square. For diameter it will be pi d square by 4. So these things you have to now be very comfortable with. If you are thinking, sir, why you have written pi d square by 4, then you have to do little bit of mathematics. So delta L1 is equal to F L1 by A1 into y. So obviously f and y are constant. So the ratio of delta L1 by delta L2 will be L1 by A1 divided by L2 by A2. F and y being constant, they will cancel. So we do not need to worry about f because they are stretched by the same force. Okay, so you can write this as L1 by D1 square L2 by D2 square, or L1 D2 square by L2 D1 square. So what is the ratio of L1 and L2? L1 and L2 are in the ratio of 1:3. So 1:3. And what is the ratio of D1 to D2 is 1 by 2. So D1 by D2 is 1 by 2. So D2 by D1 is 2 by 1 and square of them is 4. So it will be 4. So the ratio will be 4 by 3. Okay, so it will be 4:3. So correct answer is option 3. Okay, not difficult but little lengthy. Mahesh, how can you answer 5? There is no 5 option. So total energy KE will also come. Yes, Tanjiro, total energy, kinetic energy are same. magnitude wise total energy, magnitude of total energy equals to kinetic energy. Potential energy is half of potential energy is twice of the total energy, okay, or twice of the kinetic energy as well, but okay, total energy is negative always. Remember, any this same formula is applicable for an electron orbiting in a nucleus, around a nucleus, okay. So the same concept is applicable to electrons orbiting in a nucleus, and the same formula is applicable for a satellite orbiting around Earth. Because the energy is negative, it is bound to Earth, it cannot escape, okay. Same reason that electron is bound to the nucleus, it cannot escape automatically, okay. That's why the total energy is always negative, okay. The magnitude wise total energy and kinetic energy are same. A horizontal pipe carries water in streamline flow at a point along the pipe where the cross-sectional area is 10 centimeter square. The velocity of the water is 1 meter per second and the pressure is 2000 pascals. What is the pressure of the water at another point where the cross-sectional area is 5 centimeter square? Density of the water is 1000 kg per meter cube. Now we have to use Bernoulli's principle. Here we are assuming that the height of the fluid is constant, okay. So only the cross-sectional area is different, so height is constant. That means height portion we do not need to consider. So what we will be considering, that the rate of flow is given by so what is the rate of flow here? Where the cross-sectional area is 10 centimeter square, speed is 1 meter per second, so A into V is constant, so A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. This is the first step, okay. So first step you have to calculate V2. That means 10 into 1 meter per second equals to, area here is 5 centimeter square, so 5 into V2, so V2 must be equals to 2. So V2 we have calculated. Now Bernoulli's principle says that PA plus V square rho upon G plus rho GH. Now rho GH part we will not consider because that is not there. That will be equals to PB V square plus V square rho by G, okay, V1 square V2 square. Now we have to use this formula, 2000 pascals plus V square, rho is given here 1000 kg per meter cube, so it will be 1 square into 1000 divided by 10 plus sorry not plus equals to PB plus 2 square into 1000 divided by 10. So 0 0 cancels, we get 2000 plus 100 equals to PB plus 400, okay. So PB equals to 2100 minus 400, that is 1700 pascals, okay. I think some mistake I have made. Square. Yes, 2 meter per second is correct. Thank you, Alpha. Thank you. Sorry, it will be half rho v square. Sorry, it will be half rho v square. G will not come here. Half rho v square plus equals to PB plus half rho v2 square. Okay, so it will be 2000 plus half into 1000 into 1 square equals to PB plus half into 1000 into 2 square. So this cancels, we get 500. So 2500 equals to PB plus half into 1000 plus 4, sorry, not plus, into 4. So it gets cancelled. So you get 2000 plus PB. So PB equals to 2500 minus 2000, that is equals to 500. So correct answer is 500 pascals. It will be 500 pascals. Okay. Yes, I made a mistake. Instead of half I have taken G. So that is my mistake, sorry. Now, 3 metal rods of the same material and identical in all aspects are joined as shown in the figure. So here we have 3 materials, 0, 90, 90. Okay, the temperature at the end of the rods are maintained as indicated, assuming no heat energy loss occurs through the curved surfaces of the rods. The temperature of the junction is. So here we have to find the temperature of this junction, which is T. Now how to solve it? It is very similar to that of the Kirchhoff's current law. Suppose this junction is T. If you see that this point is 90 degrees, this point is also 90 degrees. Both points are in 90 degrees. Suppose the heat which is passing through here is H. Difference in temperature is same. So the rods are identical. That means if the heat through this is H, that means the heat through this will also be H. Okay, so heat through both of them should be H, and what heat should pass from here to here, that should be equals to 2H. Okay, now heat is proportional to temperature difference. Heat is proportional to temperature difference. You don't need exact formula here, you just need to understand that heat is proportional to temperature difference, Ka delta T by T. You do not need to remember all those complicated equation. Heat transfer is basically proportional to temperature difference. So 2H must be equals to some constant I am naming K into delta T. Delta T means high temperature minus low temperature, that is T minus 0. 2H is equal to K into T minus 0. Don't worry, K will cancel. Now when the heat is traveling in this direction, this is high temperature, this is I made a mistake over here, a very bad mistake, that this is 0 degree, this is 90 degrees, so heat must be flowing in this direction. Okay, so this is temperature T, so heat must be flowing from higher temperature to lower temperature. Okay, so heat must be flowing in this direction. The rest is same. So heat H is coming from this side, heat H is coming from this side. So total heat is coming is 2H. Okay, so clear that heat will travel from higher temperature to lower temperature. That is one of my mistake over here. Otherwise, conceptually the same problem. Now what is this heat? This heat is given by same constant into high temperature minus low temperature. Right? This is same for the other rod as well. So we can write, combining these two, we can write 2 into this value K into 90 minus T equals to K into T. Okay, T minus 0 is T, so K cancels, you get 180 minus 2T equals to T, or 180 equals to T plus 2T, that is 3T equals to 180, or T equals to 60 degrees. T equals to 60 degrees. So correct answer is option 4, 60 degrees. Okay. So this is like a Kirchhoff's current law. I current coming from here, I current coming from here. They has to be what is the current passing through this? Junction rule, Kirchhoff's junction rule. I current, the total current has to be 2I, right? So heat H is coming from this side, heat H is coming from this side. So what will be the total heat coming through this, passing through this rod? That has to be addition of these two heats, because no heat is radiated or lost in the process, so energy is conserved. So if 8 amount of heat energy is coming from this rod, 8 amount of heat is coming from this rod, then this has to be 2H has to pass from this rod. Okay, that's why we have taken this as yes, Addy, correct. Sampath SK, please check your device. Okay, our voice on our end is perfect. If you are not able to hear me, please check the voice device, your device. Okay. A gas is taken from state A to state B along two different paths, 1 and 2. Heat absorbed and work done by the system along these two paths are Q1 and Q2, W1 and W2 respectively. Then which of the relationship is correct? Now you can take up a gas from temperature say temperature T1 to temperature T2. Okay, one process you keep the pressure and volume, pressure constant, then volume you change. Next step you change the volume and keep the pressure constant. So whatever process you take the gas from one process to one. Okay, suppose this is path number 1, this is path number 2. Remember that the change in internal energy is independent of path. That is why internal energy is called a state function. It depends on the initial temperature and final temperature only, temperature difference only. It does not depend on how you have achieved it. Okay, so that's why delta U or internal energy change is called a state function. Work done, heat supplied, they are not state function, they are path function. They depend on the path with which you have moved. For example, you are traveling from your home to your college via say a public bus or your college bus or auto. No matter what you are using, your displacement will be same, but based on which mode of transport you have taken, the fare will be different. Okay, so same is the work done, heat energy, they are like fares, but the displacement from your college to your home is basically the internal energy change. Okay, so internal energy sense, so this is Q1, work done is W1, this is Q2, work done is W2. We know that from the first law of motion, Q1 equals to W1 plus delta U, or delta U equals to Q1 minus W1. Similarly, we can say that from this is for path 1, for path number 2, change in internal energy is heat supplied minus work done. Okay, so these two has to be same because delta U is same, so that means Q1 minus W1 equals to Q2 minus W2. So if you see that, the correct option is first option itself. Okay. Give me some tea as well. Guys, answer the question. If you are not interested, you can leave the chat. Answer the question. Sir, if we write second exam, will our marks be considered for KCET according to the brochure released? New brochure released. It will be considered. It will be considered. Okay, but if you take the third exam, for that also it will be considered, but by the time your third exam results are out by PUC, okay, the first round of counseling, even second round of counseling, last year second round of counseling also over. So your marks, if your rank improves, then you will not be able to, that will not affect your first two counseling things, okay. Subsequent counselings that can help you, but if you have already taken a college in the first counseling or second counseling, then your improvement, third improvement does not have a much say in your rank, okay. Your rank will be maybe improved by a little. So that one thing. Second is, by the time your second improvement results are out, KCET results, KCET counseling will about to start, so they might say that you have to do the marks entry once more. So marks entry you have to do it in the KCET portal once more, and they will consider it for the final rank, final counseling, okay. In case the ranks are already distributed, they will give you a or B rank. Suppose initially you got a rank, say 7,000, okay, based on your PUC 1 result. Now if you have got a very good result in the second improvement exam, and your rank has to be now suppose it will be 5,000, but there is already a student who is there with the rank 5,000, okay. There will be already a student with the rank 5,000. Their rank they will not change. What they will do, they will give you a 4,999 rank A. That means you are just after 4,999. So you are ahead of 5,000 rank, but you are below 4,999 rank. Now there are multiple students who can have the exact marks as you, but based on the calculations they will get 4,999B, 4,999C. That means they are all after 4,099, but they are all above 5,000 original rank, okay. So you will get a or B rank based on your improvement result, okay. So second, up to second exam it is directly consequential. Third improvement exam is only for your personal track record, that you want to improve your ranks, but that will not majorly change your KCET outcome, because by that time counseling will almost 50% be over. At 27 degrees Celsius temperature, the mean kinetic energy of the atoms of an ideal gas is E1. If the temperature is increased to 327 degrees Celsius, then the mean kinetic energy of the atoms will be. So mean kinetic energy of the atom is proportional to its absolute temperature, because half kBT. Now that depends on the degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom is not given, but constant of proportionality will be same, okay. So E1 is proportional to T1. So E1 or let's say E2 by E1 equals to T2 by T1. So E2 is nothing but T2 by T1 E1, right. So E2 is at a temperature 327 degrees Celsius. 327 plus 273 is 600. So 600 divided by T1 was 27 degree. 27 means 27 plus 273, that is 300. So that is 600 by 300 into E1. So it will be 2E1. So it will be 2E1. 2E1 is correct answer. Yes, correct answer is 2. Now next question. The variation of kinetic energy K and potential energy U and total energy as a function of displacement of the particle in SHM is as shown in the figure. The value of x0 is. So you have to find the value of x0. Those who are not able to see, these points are x0. This is plus x0, this is minus x0. Okay, this is plus A, this is minus A. A is amplitude. So what is the location of this? Now that is a very unique point. At this point the kinetic energy and potential energy becomes same. That's why they intersect. Intersecting means their energy value are same. Okay, and it is a very unique point which is nothing but the distance is a by root 2. Amplitude divided by root 2 at this location, the kinetic and potential energy becomes equal. So correct answer is option A. Lakshmi, the volume is very high. Is there anyone else facing the issue that volume is low? There were some internet issue. I can see few frames dropped, but very less. 86 frames dropped only out of so many frames we are doing. What is your question, Mahesh? Sir, I got physics 47 in board. How many marks I can take in KCET exam? Mahesh, if you scored 47 in physics, you first of all you have to appear for the improvement result. 47 is not considered to be a good marks. If you want to get a rank below 50,000, okay, you have to get around 120 130 marks. Okay, that will give you a rank below 50,000 with 47 in physics. But if you I am not sure your mathematics and chemistry marks, so 120 marks will give you a rank below 50,000. But if you want to improve your rank more than that, you have to prepare for the exam too. Proportional to root of 2. No. Proportional to root of 2, no. So energy is half kBT, mean energy per molecule per degree of freedom. Mean energy per molecule per degree of freedom is half kBT. Okay, it is not root, it is not like that, but that is here it is given the mean kinetic energy of the atoms. So here you have to use the degree of freedom. Degree of freedom is not known here, but don't worry, it will simply be ratio of the temperatures. So you do not need to use the degree of freedom, that will cancel out anyway. So mean kinetic energy, mean energy are same for a gas molecule. Okay, for a gas molecule of ideal gas, the energy is per molecule per degree of freedom is half kBT. Okay, there is no potential energy, so entire energy of the molecule is kinetic energy. Okay, remember that there is no potential energy of ideal gas, so entire energy itself is kinetic energy, and according to equipotential energy theorem, the mean energy of a molecule is per degree of freedom is given by half kBT. Okay, it is not root 2. The angle between the particle velocity and wave velocity in a transverse wave. Root 2, I think you are getting confused with the velocity and energy. Velocity is proportional to root t, but energy is proportional to t. The angle between the particle velocity and wave velocity in a transverse wave is except when the particle passes through the mean position. Transverse wave means what? Particles are vibrating in this direction and the wave is propagating in this direction. So what is the angle? Particles are vibrating in this direction, wave is propagating in this direction. So what is the angle between them? Very simple, 90 degrees, pi by 2 radian. Okay. (23) is very simple. It is a equipartition of energy. First PU, if you have studied, you know. If you have not studied, you need to understand that the energy of an ideal gas, energy of a molecule, mean energy of a molecule is given by a very simple formula which states that energy per degree of freedom is given by half kBT. Okay, if you want to know what is degree of freedom, go check my kinetic energy chapter where I have discussed degrees of freedom in detail in master stroke series, which was out 1 week back. You can go and check that out where I have discussed what is degrees of freedom. This is called equipartition of energy theorem. So energy is equally distributed among all degrees of freedom. That energy is half kBT. So that means energy is proportional to T, and this is a mean energy. This energy itself is mean energy. Kb is Boltzmann constant. So basically, so ratio of energy is ratio of temperatures. That's it. Next, a metallic sphere of radius capital R carrying charge Q is kept at a certain distance from another metallic sphere of radius R by 4 carrying a charge capital Q. What is the electric flux at a point inside the metallic sphere of radius R due to the sphere of radius R by 4? Easy question. Just to confuse you, they have added a lot of difficult language. Here we have a large sphere of radius R. Here we have a small sphere of radius R by 4. They are asking the charge on this is Q, charge on this is capital Q. What is the flux due to this sphere on this sphere inside the sphere? Okay, so that is the question. What is the electric flux inside this sphere due to this sphere? Very easy question. Yes, class is interesting. Mahesh, if you don't want to you are not at all interested in physics as per I can understand from your attitude. So now what is the answer for this question? Answer this. Mahesh, I am putting you on a timeout. I think you have here to get some information. Okay, you can have that information later on. Yes, it is 0. Because this sphere is outside the original sphere, whatever field line is going into it, first of all, if it is a conducting sphere, no field line will pass through it. Okay, in case some field line goes in, the same amount of field line will come out as well. So net electric flux inside the sphere will be 0. Okay, and there will be no effect of any charges outside. Gauss's law also tells the same, that charges which are outside does not affect any electric flux on another object. That means the net electric flux due to this sphere will be 0 because it is outside the sphere. Okay, clear? Now let's move on to the next question. You are given a dipole of charge capital Q and minus Q. So in 2025, many of the electric charge field questions actually came directly from Gauss's law. Okay, the topic changes from year to year, but if there is one topic, there is a heavy chance that 2-3 questions will come from the same topic. You are given a dipole of charge plus Q and minus Q separated by a distance 2r. A sphere A of radius capital R passes through the center of the dipole as shown below, and another sphere B of radius 2r passes through the charge capital small q. Then the electric flux through the sphere A is. So here we have another similar question, very similar question. If you have able to answer the previous question, you should be able to answer this question as well. Here we have two spheres, 1, 2. Now I don't know why they have given two spheres. The question is, what is the electric flux through this sphere A? Okay, what is the electric flux through this sphere A? Now answer this. Yes, I am doing fast only. No, 1, 1, 2, 2, it is not correct. It is 3 which is correct. So those who have answered 3 is correct. So here only minus q is inside the sphere. So the flux is, according to the Gauss's law, charge enclosed divided by epsilon naught. Only charge enclosed, we will not consider anything else. Whatever is outside, we are not bothered with it. So whatever is inside, that we have to be considered with. A potential at a point A is minus 3 volt, and that and another point B is 5 volt. What is the work done carrying a charge of 5 millicoulomb from A to B? So potential A at minus 3 volt, potential B is 5 volt. Okay, so you are carrying a charge from B to A. So what is the work done? Work done is given by final potential minus initial potential. Okay, finally you are arriving at A. Final is A, initial is B into the charge. That is the work done. Very simple formula. Difference in potential into charge is the work done. So A is -3, B is 5, charge is 5 millicoulomb. Milli means 10 to the power of -3, so it will be -8 into 5 into 10 to the power of -3, that is -40, that is 4 into 10 to the power of -2. So it will be -4 into 10 to the power of -2, that is minus 0.04 joules. It will be minus 0.04 joules. Okay. Next question. Charges are uniformly spread on the surface of a conducting sphere. The electric field from the center of the sphere to a point outside the sphere varies with the distance small r from the center as. So how does electric field changes? Easy question. Electric field inside a conducting sphere is 0, and from the surface it decreases as 1 upon r square. So correct answer is option 4. Inside it is 0, outside it is decreasing as 1 upon r. So correct answer is option E. Not this one, but option 4 or D. Now next, match column 1 with column 2. Match the following. So electric dipole and dipole moment. So angle between P and E, potential energy of the dipole. Okay, what is potential energy of a dipole? Potential energy is minus PE cos theta. Okay, so angle is 180 degrees. So potential energy will be PE. So definitely this is option A, or let me write it like this. So A is matching with 2. What about 120 degree? So cos 120, cos 120 is minus PE cos 180 minus 60. Either you can do this, or 90 plus 30 is also fine. So you will get minus PE into minus cos 60. Okay, so it will be PE into half. So PE by 2. 120 is PE by 2, so this must be B. And 90 degrees it is 0. So 90 degree it is 0. Okay, so A2 B3 C4. A2 B3 C4. So correct answer is this one. This is the correct match. Okay, this is the correct match, A2 B3 C4. Next question. Which of the following statements is not true? Not true. That means 3 are true, 1 is wrong. Equipotential surfaces are the surfaces where the potential is constant. Obviously equipotential surface means potential is constant. Equipotential surfaces for uniform electric field are parallel and equidistant from each other. So equipotential surfaces for a uniform electric field are parallel and equidistant from each other is also correct. Electric field is always perpendicular to an equipotential surface. So this is also correct. Work done to move a charge on an equipotential surface is not 0. Obviously this is wrong. So this is a PU level question, very easy. Work done to move a charge in a equipotential surface is always 0. Next question. Which of the following is a correct statement? Gauss's law is not applicable when the charges are not symmetrically distributed over a closed surface. So this is not correct, because Gauss's law is always applicable no matter how the charge is distributed. Gauss's law does not hold good for a charge situated outside the Gaussian surface. Now Gauss's law does not consider any charge outside the surface, so Gauss's law always holds true. So this is also not correct, because Gauss's law does not care if charge is outside or inside. Does not hold good means not true. Gauss's law is not correct if the charge is outside the surface. Gauss's law is correct. Charge is outside means flux is 0. Gauss's law is true for any closed surface. Yes, Gauss's law is true for any closed surface. Gauss's law is true for any open surface is not correct. So definitely option 3 is correct answer. I will start banning you guys if you are doing anything other than class. I will start banning you. Question 29, why not second option is correct? Which one? This one. This one is just a rectangular hyperbola. This is not a 1 upon r graph. This is a rectangular hyperbola. So if it is like a PV is equal to constant graph, this is the correct pattern. Okay, here you will see that so this graph is not clear. What is the radius? So here it is mentioned what is radius. So this point is given over here. Okay, it is suddenly having a peak. So this is like a normal graph. Okay, this, even though there is a gap, but you cannot say that this is the peak. Okay, even though this is very close, but it is not correct, because the graph has to start at the radius. So that demarcation is not there. This demarcation where the radius is, so radius is here. I think that point is not mentioned over here, so you cannot take this as correct answer. Okay, it will start and it will fall very steep. The falling is very steep compared to this point. Okay, this one is for potential. This one is for, this is simply a random graph. Similar pattern is given, but this graph is not correct. Okay, that is why it is not correct, because the demarcation of radius is not given. But good catch. If you answered it wrong, maybe next time if you see similar option is given, but you somehow answered it wrong, you can raise a dispute saying that this is also possible here. Even though mathematically it is wrong, your objection will not be sustainable, but visually you can say that it is not clear in the visual. In the following circuit, the terminal voltage across the cell. Terminal voltage means terminal voltage. You can calculate terminal voltage in two ways. Either you can calculate terminal voltage as E minus IR, or terminal voltage as I into capital R. Both are correct. Okay, we will use the second one, which is faster. So what is the current? Current is E divided by R plus R. So what is E here? E is 2 volts. Okay, capital R is 3.9, small r is 0.1, so it will be 2 by 4, that is 0.5. Now you multiply it, 3.9 into 0.5, that is 1.95. Okay, so correct answer is 1.95 volt. So 0.5 means half. So 3.9 is half. 3.9 is half means 1.95. Okay. Two cells of EMF E1 and E2 and internal resistances R1 and R2. Here it is mentioned E2 is greater than E1 and R2 is greater than R1 respectively, are connected in parallel as shown in the figure. The equivalent EMF of the combination is E equivalent. Then which of the relationship is correct? Okay, now here this question can be tricky if you try to guess the answer. Okay, if you know the answer, you are guessing it. Third option is not correct, because third option it is increasing, right? So that's why third option is not correct. Now so they have given like this. So this is not there. This portion should not be there. Okay, electric field is 0 here. So electric field will be only like this. So that this means here it is 0. That's why third option is not correct. Now this question can be tricky if you do not know the trick on how to solve it. So here you have to take the value of, you have to take some values. If you don't take the value, you will not be able to solve it. You will not be able to figure out which option is to take. So let's take E as 1 volt, R1 as 1 ohm, E2 as 2 volt, R2 as 2 ohm. So both of our conditions are satisfied over here. E2 is greater than E1, R2 is greater than R1. Okay, no problem. Here you can take any other value. I have taken two smallest possible values which will help us to solve this question quickly. Okay, if you see some unknown questions like this, take some values, not random values, logical values, smaller possible values, so that your calculations becomes less. So what is the equivalent EMF? How to calculate equivalent EMF? Equivalent EMF is, I use this formula. Tell me what formula you use. E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 divided by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. There is another formula given in your textbook which is tricky to remember. This one is easier to remember, that's why I use it. Okay, because this formula you can apply more than 2 cells as well. Okay, so if there are more than 2 cells, you have to scratch your head how to solve it, but if there are more than 2 cells, this formula is still applicable. So I have taken this both of them as 1, so 1 by 1 plus 2 by 2, this both of them are 2 divided by 1 plus 1 by 2. Okay, so this becomes 1 by 1 becomes 1, 2 by 2 becomes 1, here we get 1 plus half, that is 2 divided by 3 by 2, that is 4 by 3, right? 2 by 3 by 2 means this 2 goes up, becomes 4, and this is 1.33. So we get the value as 1.33. We are not required to calculate the equivalent resistance. Equivalent resistance can be anything, but now 1.33 means what? Is it greater than? So E equivalent is greater than both the greater than E1. E equivalent is greater than E1, but it is less than that of E2, right? So E1, so this, either this is correct or this is correct, one of them is correct. Okay, so it is E2 is greater than E1 and E equivalent is greater than E1. So these options are not correct, right? Now there is an option given here. E equivalent is nearer to E1, E equivalent is nearer to E2. So if you see this option, which value it is nearer to? 1.33 is closer to 1 or 1.33 is closer to 2. The difference between 1.33 and 1 is 0.33. Difference between 1.33 and 2 is 0.67. So definitely this is closer to E1. If the same value was 1.67, then we can say this is closer to E2. Okay, but if this condition is satisfied, generally this will be the equivalent EMF. Remember, in parallel combination, equivalent EMF maximum can have the value of both EMFs if they are same value. Otherwise it will always be between the two ranges and it will be closer to smallest value. It will be closer to smallest EMF always. Okay. Now, easy question. The variation of resistivity with absolute temperature T for 3 different materials X, Y, Z are shown in the graph below. Identify the materials. So what are all the materials? This is alloy, nichrome, okay, nichrome. This is increasing temperature and conductivity increases. This must be semiconductor. And here increasing temperature, resistivity, sorry. So increasing temperature, resistivity increases, not conductivity. So this must be metal. and this must be semiconductor. This is alloy. Okay, this is alloy. So now let's see the options. X semiconductor, X is metal, so X is copper. Metal here option given is copper. X is copper. Y is nichrome. Nichrome is a alloy, and Z is semiconductor. So correct answer is option 3. Okay. No, not 4. I told you EBHYAS, I already answered same question again and again. Yes, it will be considered. It will be considered. Okay. So here remember, this is resistivity. Resistivity increases with temperature for metals. That means it becomes a bad conductor. Whereas a semiconductor, if you increase the temperature, it becomes a good conductor. How it becomes a good conductor? Its resistivity decreases. Resistivity decreases means it becomes a good conductor, conductivity increases. If the same graph was there for conductivity, then this should have exchanged. Okay, that means this is copper, Y, this is Y, this is nichrome. Okay, nichrome has a almost fixed resistivity with temperature. That's why nichrome is used inside the resistance box that you have used in your laboratory. Okay, nichrome, manganese, okay, they have constant coefficient of resistivity. And Z is semiconductor, this is decreasing, not 4. How can 4 be answered? 4, this is completely violation, right? Now next question. Given a current carrying wire of non-uniform cross section, which of the following constant throughout the length of the wire? Current and drift speed, current only, current, electric field and drift speed, drift speed. So if the wire is non-uniform, obviously drift speed changes. Drift speed depends on the surface area, but what thing remains? And electric field is also changes. Okay, electric field depends on the surface area and the distance between the points. Okay, how close the points are. So electric field changes. Electric field is not constant, but what remains constant is current. Current is NEA VD. Now this quantity is constant. Area into drift speed is constant, but as you move from point to point, the area changes, the drift speed changes, but their multiplication remains constant. This is called continuity equation. Okay, only current remains constant. Only current, yes. Only current remains constant, yes. Next question. The graph between variation of resistance of a metal wire as a function of its diameter, keeping other parameters like length, temperature constant is. So this is the favorite question of KCET examiners. Okay, they always give one direct pattern involving this pattern. Which pattern is it? If you want to guess, as I told multiple times in my lecture, if you want to guess any pattern, you can guess this answer. Okay, not in the electric field. Electric field is a very specific pattern that there you cannot guess this, but this one is very specific case. No other similar pattern is there. That means this will be the correct answer. 90% chance. 90% chance if you guess this answer as correct answer, there is a 90% chance this will be correct. Okay, there are only 10% cases this pattern was incorrect. Okay, this is one of the favorite pattern of KCET examiners. Now why it is so? Resistance is rho L by A. Now area is pi d square by 4. Okay, so resistance is proportional to 1 by d square. So this is an inverse proportionality graph. Square inverse proportionality graph, square inverse proportionality graph looks like this. Slightly more steeper. Graph is slightly more steeper, but okay, fine. Two thin long parallel wires separated by a distance r from each other in vacuum carry a current I ampere in opposite directions, then they will. So we have current I and I. Okay, separated by a distance R. So what they will do? Current in opposite direction, they repel each other. Current in opposite direction, they repel each other. That means it will be force of repulsion. And what is the force? Force per unit length will be mu naught by 2 pi I1 I2 by R. Okay, mu naught by 2 pi I1 I2. Now both of them have same current, so it will be I square divided by R, not R square but R. So correct answer is option 1. Okay, repulsion, same direction current attract, opposite direction current repel each other. Remember this. Okay, now next question. A solenoid is 1 meter long and 4 centimeter in diameter. It has 5 layers of windings of 1000 turns each and carries a current of 7 ampere. The magnetic field at the center of the solenoid is. So 1 meter long, 4 centimeter diameter, 5 layers of windings, 1000 meter each. You discuss your marks after the exam, after the class. Okay, whatever marks you have got does not matter. Okay, if you are really serious about your KCET exam, focus on the class. 5 layers, sorry, focus on the class. At least it will help you some extent. Listen to me. Later on, better to cry in the class later and not cry later on. You will cry later on by saying that, sir, I forgot, I was not interested in that class in that particular time, so that's why the concept remains blank in my head. Same question came, similar question came, but I was not able to answer. Okay, so the number of turns is given here 1000, the length is given 1 meter, so number of turns per unit length is n by 1, that is 5000 only. Okay, if it is any other value, it will not be 5000, so be careful. Here 1 meter is given, that's why number of turns, total number of turns and number of turns per unit length becomes same. Now what is the magnetic field? Magnetic field is mu naught Ni. Okay, mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. Number of turns is 5000 and current here is given as 7 ampere. You do not need to consider this diameter of the solenoid. Now we will use a very simple trick. That trick is involving, instead of taking 3.14, we will take 22 by 7, the value of pi. So you will get here, you will get 5 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into 7. So these zeros I have adjusted here, 7 cancels, and you get 110, 440 into 10 to the power of minus 4, or if you see the answer, it will be either 0.4 into 10 to the power of minus 2, or it will be 4.4 into 10 to the power of minus 2. Okay, 2 zeros, 1 2 zeros, so 10 to the power of minus 2. So correct answer option 1. Okay, this is a smart calculation trick, because 22 by 7, we sometimes forget that pi can be used as 22 by 7, but based on the question to question, once you have written the formula, you realize whether to take 3.14 or to take 22 by 7. Two similar galvanometers are converted into ammeter and milliammeter. The shunt resistance of ammeter as compared to shunt resistance of the milliammeter will be. So here we have a galvanometer. Okay, the maximum galvanometer current is constant. Now here we have a shunt resistance. Okay, now if it is a milliammeter, the current which is being passed in the circuit will be of the order of milliammeter. Okay, now out of that, some portion of the current will be allowed through the galvanometer and remaining current will be passing through the shunt. Now obviously milliammeter means very less amount of current will be passing through the shunt, so you do not need a very low value shunt. Low value shunt means it bypasses a large amount of current. Okay, so for example, if we are, this is milliammeter, if you are considering same as ammeter, now the galvanometer current is same of the order of few milliammeter, but here the shunt has to do the heavy lifting. It will pass a large amount of current through it, so that the galvanometer does not burn and the galvanometer can still show ammeter current. Okay, so the hidden part is this shunt, which allows a large amount of current. Now who can have a large amount of current passing through them? Small value resistor. If the resistance is high, it will not allow high value current through them, it will block it and the galvanometer will burn. So that's why a milliammeter will have a higher shunt resistance compared to the ammeter. Okay, so the shunt resistance of the ammeter will be smaller or lesser compared to that of the milliammeter. Okay, so higher the amperage of an ammeter, smaller is the shunt resistance. Higher the amperage of the galvanometer, smaller is the shunt resistance. Which of the following statement is true in respect of diamagnetic substance? Yes. Which of the following statements is true in respect to diamagnetic substance? Permeability is greater than 1000, susceptibility decreases with temperature, susceptibility is small and negative, they are feebly attracted by magnet. What is the correct answer? Who will answer it? Yes, susceptibility is small and negative. Susceptibility is small and negative. Okay. Identify the correct statement. A straight current carrying wire, current carrying conductor has circular magnetic field lines around it. So straight current carrying wire has a circular magnetic field around it. So this is the correct statement. Okay, so if this is the current carrying wire, the magnetic field lines are circular around it. You studied in your class 10th. Okay, magnetic effect of electric current. You can check the other options which will be wrong. Okay, the direction of magnetic field due to a current element is given by Fleming's left hand rule, which is not correct. Current element, direction of magnetic field is given by Biot-Savart's law. The magnetic field inside a solenoid is non-uniform, it is uniform. Alternating current conductor produces an electric field around it. A current carrying conductor does not produce electric field. Electric field is inside the conductor itself. Okay, there is no electric field around it. Electric field is inside the conductor. Outside electric field is zero. Only magnetic field is there. Okay. Which of the following graphs represent the variation of magnetic field B with perpendicular distance r from an infinitely long straight conductor carrying current? Same pattern repeated twice in a year. Okay, so infinitely current carrying wire, magnetic field B is given by mu naught by 2 pi I by r. So again magnetic field is proportional to 1 by r, so correct pattern is 1. If you see this pattern, okay, as I mentioned, 90% chance is this pattern will be correct. Okay, 90%. According to the previous history of KCET, this pattern will be 90% chance. This pattern will be correct. Now next, if we consider an electron and proton of same de Broglie wavelength, then they will have same energy, velocity, momentum, angular momentum. Easy questions, I am not discussing too much. So de Broglie wavelength is given by h by p. So if wavelengths are same, then only thing that is same is momentum. Planck's constant is a constant, so only momentum has to be same. Energy, velocity can be different, but momentum has to be same. So if de Broglie wavelength is same, then momentum will also be same. The anode voltage of a photocell is kept fixed. The frequency of the light falling on the cathode is gradually increased. Then the correct graph which shows the variation of photocurrent I with the frequency of the incident light. So current versus frequency, which graph is correct? Now do not mark, so this is an exception where this pattern is not correct. So which pattern will be correct here? Uday Charan is saying 3. Uday Charan, this graph is for a different pattern. This graph is not correct. This graph is for a different, I think, stopping potential versus frequency. This graph is correct. This is not stopping potential. Correct answer is option 4. Why? Because saturation current depends only on the intensity of light. Saturation current depends only on the intensity of light. So current will remain constant no matter what is the frequency is, but the current will start after certain frequency. Okay, because this is the threshold frequency or cutoff frequency. Beyond this frequency you will not get any emission. You will start getting emission only after this, but the intensity depends, the saturation current depends only on intensity. If you remember, this part represents saturation current, right? This part represents saturation current. Saturation current is same no matter what intensity you are using, if what frequency you are using, because in this case the intensity of the light is constant. Intensity is not changing. So if intensity is not changing, then the saturation current will be fixed. Okay, this is stopping potential versus frequency graph. Do not make a mistake. This is stopping potential versus frequency graph. Stopping potential increases linearly with the frequency. Okay. When a bar magnet is pushed towards the coil along its axis as shown in the figure, the galvanometer pointer deflects towards X. When this magnet is pulled away from the coil, the galvanometer pointer does not deflect, oscillates, deflect towards X. Deflects towards X1. So what is the question? Bar magnet pushed towards the coil along its axis as shown in the figure, the galvanometer pointer deflects towards X. So if you are taking the magnet, pushing it towards the coil, the deflection happens towards X. Okay, when the magnet is pulled away, it will be in the opposite direction. So when you are pushing it in this direction, it is in the X direction. You are pulling it away, that means according to Lenz's law, it will try to prevent it. That means it has to give a magnetic field which is the opposite direction. That means it will be in the X1. Okay, easy question, very easy question. Yes. What is Tanjiro? What is your question? Shairi. Oh, I don't know Shairi. If you are asking me to say some Shairi, I have no idea about Shairi. But I can listen to good Shairi. If you know some Shair, you can recommend me. I will listen to in my free time. A square loop of side 2 meter lies in the YZ plane in a region having magnetic field B equals to 5 I cap plus 3 J cap minus 4 K cap Tesla. The magnitude of magnetic flux through the square loop is. So here loop is in the YZ plane. Loop is in the YZ plane. So suppose this is Y, this is Z. Okay, so the normal to the loop has to be in the I cap direction. Very interesting, important concept. The area vector. The area vector points normal to the surface. Area vector always points normal to the surface. So surface is along the xy plane. So the vector, area vector will be in the I cap direction. We know that magnetic flux is B dot A. B is given 5 I cap plus 3 J cap minus 4 K cap. Dot A vector, area is 2 meter, so area is 4 and area vector is 4 I cap. Very simple. Why 4 I cap? Because area vector is always normal to the surface. Okay, YZ plane means normal, either positive or negative x-axis. We will take positive x-axis only. Okay, but you might say, sir, why not negative? We generally do not take negative, right? That's why we are not taking negative. Now I cap dot I cap is 1, remaining all the dot products are 0. So 4 5s are 20. So 20 Weber is the magnetic flux. So magnetic flux is 20 Weber. Very easy. See, if you are wasting my time, Mahesh, I blocked you for some time. No, I do not know Shairi. See, this is Lenz's law, very basic concept. So when the magnet is going in this side, it is deflecting x. You are going it opposite side, it will deflect in the opposite side. Very simple. So when the magnet is going towards the loop, it is getting deflected and you are getting x. The magnet is going in the opposite direction. The galvanometer will also say, I also want to go to the opposite direction. Okay, like your class. When the class is happening, you are discussing, you are chatting during the class, but when the class is not happening, that time you are not discussing, you are not chatting. Right? Same as you. Which concept? Vardharaj. Concept is Lenz's law. Concept is Lenz's law. Lenz's law, sometimes you call Lenz's law, which is not proper pronunciation. Pronunciation is Lenz's law. Lenz's law. It's a German name. Lenz's law. So Lenz's law says that the induced EMF always opposes its cause. So when it is going in this side, if the galvanometer going in this direction, means current is being flowing such a way it is deflecting in this side. Now when you are pulling it in this side, the current has to go in the opposite direction. That means it will go in the opposite direction. Very simple. Do not overthink some concepts which is not required. Okay. Yeah. Hello, Sweta. 47 is magnetic flux is B dot A. Area is normal vector into area. Okay, area is, what is the area of a rectangle? Area is area of a square. Okay, 2 meter, so squares area is 4. But what is the direction? Area is a vector quantity. Direction of area vector is normal to the surface. So the plane here, it is mentioned in the YZ plane. So the direction will be in the x direction. Apart from x and y, which is normal, that is x. X direction is normal to YZ plane. Okay, that means it will be in the I cap direction. So area vector is I cap. Now it's a dot product. Okay. Dot product, you have, if you have don't know dot product, ask Ankit sir, he will explain in the maths class. In domestic electric main supply, the voltage and currents are, okay. Good evening, Kunal. In domestic electric supply, both voltage and current are AC. Both voltage and current are AC. Many students answered voltage is AC, current is DC. Wrong. AC voltage, DC current is not possible. Everything has to be in AC. Okay, either everything has to be in AC or everything has to be in DC. Now DC is not in use. Everything is AC in our use. If we require DC to be used, we convert it. Okay, for example, mobile charger converts AC to DC and then it charges our mobile phones. Same thing happens with laptop chargers, TVs, computers, everywhere. There is a converter involved in between which converts AC to DC. But our current system, which we receive directly, are always AC. A sinusoidal voltage produced by a generator at any instant t is given by equation 311 sin 314t. The RMS value of voltage and frequency are. So standard equation of voltage is V naught sin omega t. So by comparing, we get V naught equals to 311 and omega equals to 314. Now what is the RMS value? RMS value is V naught by root 2, which is 311 by 1.4, which will give you 220. Which will give you 220 volt. Now this one you should remember very carefully, that 220 root 2 is 311.1. Okay, if you remember this, then opposite of that will be 220 volt. So 220 must be equals to 311 by root 2, right? So this is a very common thing because our domestic supply use 220 volt. So that's why 220 volt root 2 is 311 volt. That is the maximum value of our domestic supply. This is the RMS value. What about frequency? Frequency is 2 pi omega by 2 pi, right? Omega is equal to 2 pi f. If you remember, how you have solved your current alternating current chapter numericals, this was the substitution we are using. So omega is 314. Okay, 2 into 3.14, pi is 3.14. So we get here 100 or 50. So 50 hertz. So 220 volt, 50 hertz, that is our day-to-day domestic supply. So this is the equation of our domestic supply that you are receiving, I am receiving, everyone is receiving in India. This is the supply in their domestic appliances. A series LCR circuit containing an AC source of 100 volt has an inductor and capacitor of reactances 14 ohm and 16 ohm respectively. If a resistance of 600 ohm is connected in series, then the potential difference across the series combination of inductor and capacitor only is. So the AC source is 100 volt. Reactances are 24 and 16. So you have to first calculate the impedance of the circuit. Impedance of the circuit is square root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square, that is 6 square plus 24 minus 16 whole square, that is 6 square plus 8 square square root, that is 10 ohm. Okay, this is very common. 6 square is 36, 8 square is 64, so their square root is 10. Pythagoras theorem based problems, you have used this multiple times. Right, so impedance we have calculated. Now what is current? Current is not V by R but V by Z. Many of you have made this mistake in your PU board exam. You have calculated current by dividing V by R and then you came into my comment saying that, sir, why it will not be V by R? It is not mentioned because it is not in resonance. R and Z are involved. So that means you have to take the Z. Okay, so voltage is 100. Z is 10, so it will be 10 volt. Okay, so current is 10, not 10 volt, current is 10 ampere. Okay, now you have to find the voltage across the inductor and capacitance. Voltage across inductor and capacitance will be XC minus XL into I. XC is 24, XL is 16, current is 10, so it will be 8 into 10, that is 80 volt. This is the combined voltage across inductor and capacitor. Okay. So combined voltage across inductor and capacitor is difference between their reactances into the current. Okay, remember this. Next, match the following types of waves with their wavelength ranges. This is from electromagnetic wave: microwave, visible light, ultraviolet, X-ray. Now visible light is, this is red, this is violet. So this is our visible light. So that means 2 is matching with A. What about microwave? Microwave is very high wavelength. Its wavelength is very, very high. That means 1 meter to 1 millimeter. So that is microwave. Ultraviolet is less than visible light. Okay, that is 400 nanometer to 1 nanometer. So this is ultraviolet ray. X-ray is even less than ultraviolet. That is 1 nanometer to 10 to the power of minus 3 nanometer. So this must be B. So 1C, 1C, 2A, okay, 3D, 4B. So even if you have found that what is the range for visible light, you could have answered it, okay, because this one is unique. 2 matching with A is unique. So if you have figured out any one of them, you could have answered this correctly. Okay. Now next, move on to the next question. A ray of light passes from vacuum. You play, Pavitra. Pavitra, you have found your partner. Go and play your favorite FF. Okay, after the lecture. Your exams are in 9 days and you are thinking about Free Fire. A ray of light passes from vacuum into medium of refractive index n. If the angle of incidence is twice the angle of refraction, then the angle of incidence in terms of refractive index is. So here ray of light from vacuum passes into another medium. So this is vacuum, this is a medium of refractive index n. Okay, now it's angle of incidence is I, angle of refraction is R. Now it is said that angle of incidence is twice the angle of refraction. That means I is equal to 2R. This information is given in the question. Okay, now they said what is the angle of incidence. Now we know that from Snell's law, n is equal to sine I by sine R, or sine I can be written as sine 2R divided by sine R, or you can write this as 2 sine R cos R divided by sine R. Sine R cancels, so you get cos R equals to n by 2, or R equals to cos inverse n by 2. Now we have calculated R, but we require to calculate I, so I will be 2 into cos inverse n by 2. Okay, so I will be 2 cos inverse n by 2. Option 1 is correct. Simple problem, very basic formula you require to solve it. If you understand, you can solve it in less than 1 minute. So this kind of questions sometimes require a slight extra time than required, but solvable, very easily solvable. A convex lens has power P. It is cut into 2 halves along its principal axis. Further, one piece out of the 2 halves is cut into 2 halves. That means first we cut this along this, okay, and then one of them is cut into this. Choose the incorrect option for the reported lens pieces. Basically we have to find power. What is the power? Remember, if you cut a lens along its length, along its in the horizontal direction, power does not change. So whatever is the power of this lens, the same power will be of this half length as well. If you cut a lens along its principal axis, its power does not change. But if you cut the lens along its diameter like this, okay, if you cut the lens along its diameter, then power becomes half. Okay, if you cut the lens along its diameter, its radius of curvature for the both surfaces changes, power becomes half. But if you cut the lens along the principal axis, even if the brightness of the image dims, okay, but the power remains same. That's why suppose for example with those who wear glasses like me, the size of the glass does not matter. Some people wear large glasses, some people wear small glasses, some wear glasses exactly into their eyes, contact lenses. Size of lens does not matter for power. Only thing that matters is that radius of curvatures. But if you cut the lens in the half along the diameter of the lens, then the power become half. Okay, so power of L3 is P by 2, correct. Power of L1 is P, correct. Power of L1 is P by 2, incorrect. So this is incorrect statement. Okay. The image formed by an objective lens of a compound microscope. Yes, Bardharaj. Which one is confusing? Vardharaj, which question? Sir, when will the focal length change then? Focal length changes if you cut the lens. If you cut the lens like this, focal length changes. Why changes? Because radius of curvature of one surface remains same, another one becomes infinity. Same for this as well. This side becomes infinity, this side remains same. So focal length changes when you cut the lens along the diameter like this. Okay, because the radius of curvature for both surfaces are different now than the original lens, focal length changes and focal length becomes twice. So when you cut along the diameter, focal length becomes twice, power becomes half. Okay, remember this. But if you cut the lens along the optical axis, focal length remains same, the power also remains same. If the similar question is asked in your this year's exam where they say in terms of focal length, remember that focal length will be double, power becomes half. Okay, 53, that's what I am explaining, Vardharaj. If you have a lens, if you cut it along this, nothing changes. If you cut the lens like this, one lens like this, another lens like this, power does not change, focal length does not change. Power remains same, focal length remains same. So whatever original power, whatever original focal length remains same in this case. Okay, because if you take this small portion, the radius of curvature of individual surfaces remains same, only you have removed a half. But the radius of curvature of this surface, remains same because they are the same surface. Okay, so focal length and power does not change. But if you cut it along the diameter, this is the diameter of a lens, this line is called diameter of a lens. So if you cut this lens along the diameter, then one side becomes flat, another side remains curved. Okay, here also one side becomes flat, another side remains curved. Okay, so that means flat surface means radius of curvature is now infinity. So only one half contributes, other half does not contribute. So that's why the power becomes P by 2, focal length becomes twice. Okay, here also power becomes P by 2 and focal length becomes 2f. Okay, clear Vardharaj? That is the logic. Yes, Sarvesh, what is your doubt? When will the focal length change then? I don't understand. How much it will change? I told you, focal length becomes double. What is your doubt, Sarvesh? Kunal is asking question 46. I will come back to your question, Kunal. I have 6 more questions. Let me finish that. Then I will come back to question 46. Krishan Gowda is saying, repeat once more. So remember that when you are cutting a lens, if you can cut the lens in 2 ways. One is along the principal axis. This line is called principal axis. Okay, if you cut the lens along the principal axis, or here, nothing happens. Power remains same, focal length remains same. If you are cutting along any line which is parallel to principal axis, focal length power does not change. Okay, focal length power does not change. So this lens, this small lens, or this small lens, they will all have same focal length, same power. Okay. Now if you cut the lens along the diameter, diameter means this is called diameter. This line is called diameter. If you cut the lens along the diameter, power becomes half, focal length becomes double. This lens becomes higher the focal length means it is not as good as previously. Okay, focal length, increasing focal length does not mean that it is a good lens. Good lens have small focal length. Bad lens have higher focal length. Okay, so that means this lens is no longer as good as it was previously. Focal length becomes twice, power becomes half. Okay. Rubish, you can discuss that after the lecture. After the lecture is over, you can discuss about percentage, free fire, account ID, okay, later on. The image formed by an objective lens of a compound microscope. It is image formed by an objective lens of a compound microscope is always real and enlarged. Final image is virtual and enlarged. Okay, objective always form real images. Be it microscope, be it telescope, objective always forms real images. Okay, eyepiece always forms virtual images. Okay, eyepiece always forms virtual images. Objective always forms real images. Okay, remember this. Next, if R and R1 denotes the angles inside a prism having a prism angle 50 degrees, considering that during the travel interval of time t equals to 0 to t equals to t, the R varies as 10 degree plus t square. During the same time R dash varies as. So we know that internal angles of a prism during a refraction process, sum of the angles is actually equals to angle of the prism. So R1 will be A minus R. Very simple problem, no rocket science, very simple logic. Don't make mistakes while calculating, that will be disastrous. So you get 40 degree minus t square. Okay, if you make a mistake and find 40 plus t square, then you have to blame for it, because plus and minus becomes minus. Many students during the hurry, because you have to answer a lot of questions, so when you see an easy question, you make these small mistakes. Don't do it. Now this question is interesting. If AB is incident, you will answer this question. Harish Chavan, I already repeated. If AB is incident, Krishan Gowda is saying C, option C. Let's see. AB is incident plane wave front, then refracted wave in front. Here N2 is greater than N1. So basically outside is air, inside is a glass medium. Which one is correct? Kunal is saying 3, Kishan Gowda is saying C. Okay, Tanjiro is also saying 3. So let's see. So you have to find wave front. So here we have a convex lens, and this is a normal convex lens. If N2 is greater than N1, N2 is less than N1, then exactly opposite would have happened what I am doing now. Remember that. Sometimes this kind of trickiness can be added to a question. Parallel rays falling on a lens. Parallel rays falling on a lens. What will happen? It will focus at its focal length. Parallel rays falling on a lens. So this is the incident wavefront. So what is the wavefront? What is this wavefront? Is this like this? If this is like this, then where is the center? So this is a curved wavefront. That means there has to be a center. Is there a center over here? No, there is no center over here. That means this wavefront is not correct. What is the correct then? So rays are converging over here. For converging, the point of convergence is the center. So the wavefront will be inverse spherical. Okay, this is inverse spherical. If you go from here on this side, it will be spherical. It will be spherical. Okay, so remember the point where the rays meet is the point of the spherical wavefront. So that means it will be inverse spherical. So wavefronts will not be like this. Wavefront will be like this. So correct answer is not 3 but 4. Very tricky question but not super difficult. If you understand that parallel rays meet at a point, the point of meeting will be the center of curvature. That means the refracted wavefront will be like this. In case, I am giving you a fair warning, if the refractive index of the lens is less than the surrounding medium, then your answer will be correct. Okay, and if the same question is asked with a concave lens, then your answer is correct, because concave lens, what they do, parallel ray falling, it diverges. If you trace them back, they meet here. So that means this is the correct pattern. Okay, for concave lens this is correct, for convex lens this is not correct. Okay, clear? The total energy carried by the light wave when it travels from a rarer to a non-reflecting and non-absorbing medium. So difficult terms. Non-reflecting, non-absorbing. What is this? Non-reflecting means it does not reflect. Non-absorbing means it does not absorb. That means energy remains constant. Very simple thing. Okay. So total energy carried by the light energy remains constant. Very simple. Non-absorbing does not absorb, non-reflecting does not reflect. So what will happen? Energy will remain constant. If it is absorbing part of the energy, if it is reflecting off some of the energy, then energy will decrease. Okay, energy will either remain same or decrease. Okay, not normally it cannot increase unless there is an external source present. Okay, it can decrease based on if the medium is absorbing some of the energy or reflecting off some of the energy. So but here it is non-absorbing, non-reflecting, energy remains same. If the radius of first Bohr orbit is r, the radius of the second Bohr orbit will be radius of Bohr orbit is n square r1. r1 is the first Bohr orbit. Okay, so first Bohr orbit given here is small r, so it will be n square small r. Second Bohr orbit is 2 square r, that is 4 r. As simple as that. Correct answer option A. Okay, yes, option 1. Very simple, very easy question. Match the following types of nuclei with example: isotopes, isobars, isotones. Okay, isotopes means symbol of the element will be same. Very simple. I am explaining it as simple as possible. Isotope means symbols of the element will remain same. So hydrogen, same element, it must be isotopes. So A and 3 must be matching. Okay. What about isobars? Isobars means there will be visible similarity. What visible similarity? The mass number will be same. So if you see here, this one and this one have same mass number. There is a similarity. Okay, isobaric. So that means here these two are isobars and remaining are isotones. Isotone means they have same neutron number. So if you find the difference between these two, that difference will be same. 18 minus 8 is 10, 19 minus 9 is also 10. Okay, you have learned this in physics, you have learned this in chemistry as well. So A with 3, B with 1, C with 2, so option 3 is correct. Okay. Now next, which of the following statement is incorrect with the reference of nuclear force? Which of the following is incorrect with reference to nuclear force? Nuclear force becomes repulsive for nucleon distances less than 8.8 femtometer. So if you remember the energy graph, okay, of nuclear force, okay, this is actually 0.8 femtometer. So and this is the potential energy. So that means positive potential energy means it is repulsive, negative potential energy means it is attractive, and as it is going over here it becomes 0. Okay, so this is the nature of the force can be interpreted from the potential graph. Positive potential energy means force is repulsive. Negative potential energy means force is attractive. Okay, so nuclear force is repulsive at 0.8 femtometer. This is correct. Nuclear force is always attractive is not correct, because nuclear force is repulsive here and it is attractive here. Okay, so nuclear force is always attractive is incorrect. So option 2 is our incorrect option. Potential energy is minimum if the separation between the nucleon is about 0.8 femtometer. So potential energy is minimum, you can say exactly at 0.8 femtometer. Nuclear force becomes attractive for nucleon distances larger than 0.8 femtometer. Yes, so as the distance goes more than 0.8 femtometer, the nuclear force becomes attractive. Similar question was asked in your PU exam as well once. Now someone asked me to solve question number 46. Yes, so what is your doubt, Kunal? So this is very simple. Lenz's law says that when you are bringing the magnet towards the coil, whatever will be the direction of induced current, if you take the magnet in the opposite direction, the induced current will be in the opposite direction. That's it. So when the magnet is moving towards the coil, okay, the induced current was in the direction of x. That means this represents the galvanometer deflects towards x. What is the meaning of that? That means the current is flowing in this direction. Galvanometer moves in the direction of current. Galvanometer is generally a device which moves in the direction of current. Okay, so current is flowing in this direction. Okay, so when the magnet is moving towards the coil, now when you take the magnet away from this coil, the induced EMF again will be there, but according to Lenz's law it has to be in the opposite direction. If while bringing, if the current is in this direction, then taking away it will be in the opposite direction. Okay, that is towards x dash. Very simple. Okay, Kunal. Now Tanjiro is saying 53. Which one is 53? See, this is very simple. How many times I have explained it, Tanjiro? Are you sleeping? If you cut it along the principal axis, power, focal length does not change. If you cut it along the diameter, that is perpendicular to the principal axis, power becomes half, focal length becomes double. Okay, that as simple as that. Vardharaj, we will be doing revision via questions only. We will start doing it. Okay, we will be start doing the revisions, and it will be done via questions. We will be solving 100 questions. I think there will be one complete revision, there will be one most expected questions. Both will be coming. One will be on Friday, one will be on Sunday. Okay, so don't worry, we will take care of your mock test for physics. Krishna Gowda, we have given you a mock test and solution on Sunday. We have solved it. It is available in our WhatsApp channel. If you have missed it, you can go and download the PDF. Lecture already completed. Okay. Okay, clear? So this is the end of today's lecture. If you have any doubt, any questions, you can come in the live of Friday. Friday there will be another live where I will be discussing more complete revision, where again complete revision means theory revision. Obviously we are not going to do, theory is huge. So we will be solving very specific questions. Through that we will be discussing some intermediate theory, like this kind of theories. Okay, so for example here, if you cut the lens in the diametrical direction, the power becomes half, focal length becomes double. If you cut it along the principal axis, power length does not change, power focal length does not change. So this kind of small theory inputs we will be giving through the question, but that will be a long session. So don't tell me that, sir, please do it fast, please do it fast. It will be long session. It will start from 3 p.m. It will run around same 8 p.m. Okay, 7:30, 8 p.m. Okay, and we will be covering more than 100 questions. So don't forget to join during the session. Okay. Raghu, PYQs directly will not come, but similar questions as PYQs will come. Okay, same exact PYQ never came, but concept very close to the same problem almost came every year. So for example, Gauss's law. If you understand Gauss's law, based on Gauss's law, every year 1 or 2 question comes. Okay, but exact same question came? No. Prajwal came back and saying, give us a gunshot lesson for 40 marks. So gunshot means what you want. You want theory revision. Theory revision is not possible at this point, Prajwal. But yes, we will be giving you very type pattern wise questions. So Friday and Sunday, 2 lectures will be there, where we will be solving. One lecture will be recorded so that you can watch longer time. We don't have that much time also. So recorded session will give you a compact session where 100 question can be discussed in 3 hours. Friday there will be another 100 session where we will do live, so that the doubts, the problems that you might have can be cleared. So there will be 200 questions, 100 plus 100, 200 questions. If you watch those 200 questions, then your 90% preparation will be done. 90% of your preparation will be done. We will do more lives day before exams as well, 1 day, 2 day before exam as well. But these 2 are primary for your preparation at this stage. If you understood those 200 questions, the concept behind those questions, that will be very, very beneficial for 45 plus marks. Last year also we did it, and students was very, very beneficial for many students came and said that, sir, we got good marks because of that session, because their exact question, obviously I cannot guarantee 100% that those questions will come, but concepts will definitely come. That is my guarantee. Concepts, the ideas behind the question will be repeated, but exact questions may not be repeated. I told you multiple times. Vardharaj, you join me for live, okay, on Friday and Thursday, okay. There we will be we will be solving more questions, okay. Okay, thank you guys for joining. I will be back on Friday. Till then, bye.